Hey everyone, Wayne Mulder here with the On the Blue Line podcast. I just want to talk to you real quick. This is a short clip that's taken from a podcast episode that is going to be coming out in the future. I was able to sit down with Adam Kinakin. He is the founder of ILET, which is the International Law Enforcement Training Network. I want you to, we had a great conversation, and when this podcast comes out, you are going to love it. The thing is as I've mentioned on social media, I have quite a backlog right now, which means I am recording episodes now that aren't going to come out for, in some cases, like 12 to 14 weeks. So because of that, I wanted to go ahead and release just this clip from the podcast because he discusses the International Law Enforcement Training Summit that's coming up on December 5th through 9th. And it's all virtual. You can, there's no charge to sign up. So I'm already registered. I hope you will register for it, but definitely listen to this clip where Adam goes into a little bit of detail on what it is, what you can expect. And then I will push this out across social media so that you can get some idea of what it is all about. And I hope that you will join. One thing you're going to see is that a lot of the instructors who are taking a part in it are either names that you already know because they're nationally or internationally known, or they are people that I have had on the podcast, such as Patrick Fitzgibbons and Dr. Heidi Sievers and many, many others. So definitely check it out, but you don't need to hear any more of how I talk about it. Listen to what Adam says, and then definitely look for this episode in a couple months. If you wouldn't mind, Adam, talk a little bit about the summit that's coming up in December and what the listeners can expect.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you asking that. So the International Law Enforcement Training Summit, it's going to be the third one we've run. It's going to be December 5th through 9th, 2022. You can access it. You can get your free ticket at iletsummit.com, iletsummit.com. It's free. It is free. We've had that since the very beginning. The idea is open access. So you can come in for the entire week. It's free to attend. You can watch the training sessions. And in fact, this year, what we're doing, because of the community platform, we're actually opening up a trial access to the community platform at the same time. So you're going to get to see the community. You're going to get to see the summit content. Right now, we have over 30 sessions. There's 31-hour sessions. Those are going to be broken down day by day. We have multiple tracks. And also, we're doing a live roundtable each and every day. So there'll be at noon till 2 Central Time, we're going to be running a live panel discussion on certain topics. So, for example, the first one is going to be active threat prevention. Prevention versus response. And that obviously we're going to talk about active shooter. We're going to talk about Uvalde. We're going to talk about a lot of different things around that. We have mental health. We have use of force. And in fact, you brought up wrist lock, and Jason, we're going to be showcasing some of that documentary, and we're going to be talking about it and having those experts on there, guys like Tony Blauer and Jared Wahangi and Ray Bashirs. We're then going to be talking about the training in law enforcement and what that looks like. And then we're also going to talk about current events and what's happening. And we actually have some key level experts. I just confirmed today that the chief superintendent for the Finnish National Police will be presenting a keynote and even joining us to discuss what's happening in Europe right now, what's happening with Ukraine. And another interesting point, and this is a little bit aside from the summit, and I would just encourage everybody to go to the website. You can see who our speakers are. If you've never seen ILET before, you may be taken aback by the names and the people that are supporting what we do. But that's just a testament to the amazing folks in this industry that are just willing to give their time and energy for something like this. But we're going to be announcing next week, and I know depending on when the podcast comes out, we are starting a project in Ukraine. We've been connected to and are working with the Kyiv Regional Police Force in Ukraine, and ILET is going to be providing free training to the Ukrainian National Police Force because those officers right now are getting hit hard, and there is zero training for them. Their training all got stopped. All of their equipment was ganked from them and given to the military. And it's funny, a lot of folks right now think that with all the money going to Ukraine, they're like, well, why don't they just pay you guys for training? That's not how it works. And I don't want to get into geopolitical conversations, but if the money's going to Ukraine, it's going one of three places. It's going to pockets, it's going to humanitarian aid, or it's going to the government military, right? And it doesn't go to first responders, and they were getting nothing, and they have nothing. And so we need to help those officers, because I don't know if your listeners have ever gone out, started their day on patrol, and then 2 hours later get tasked out on a combat patrol because there's military forces in their AO, and now they're doing urban operations with a Glock 17, no rifle, no plates, no nothing, and engaging with trained military forces, because that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And so our goal is to take some of the best experts in the world, whether they're U.S. Special Forces, Canadian Special Forces, SWAT, doesn't matter. We're putting everybody together and we're creating some training for them, translating, transcribing it into Ukrainian and sending it off to them to give them some basics of here's how tactical medicine works. Here's how urban operations works. Here's how to not get killed. And here's some best practices that we know that are universal, right? It's not secret squirrel stuff. It's nothing that you couldn't get by pulling up, GBRS on YouTube, right? Like it's stuff that exists. We're just going to contextualize it specifically for the officers in Ukraine. And that's going to be a project that we're going to be launching and talking about at the summit this year as well. And so that's a really cool piece to it. And again, all of the profits that we generate from the summit go to our I Got Your Six campaign for officer mental health. And so that goes to our friends at Blue Help this year. Blue Help, if you guys are not familiar, is a phenomenal organization. And make sure to check that out as well. You can go to just Blue Help. Search that on Google. First Help is the parent company, which covers all of the different branches. Blue Help is specifically for law enforcement. And and so the summit is just that. It's a free resource for the week. Come in, check out the training. We are going to have abilities for people that join to come into the community platform. It is going to be a membership-based platform, so there is going to be a small cost associated with it. But in conversations with our team over the last few weeks, we are going to strive to make it as next to free as humanly possible. Perfect. And so I don't want officers paying out of pocket. I don't want agencies having to pay for it. If the information is out there, I want to give them access to it. We're going to do that through our relationships with our amazing sponsors and training partners. But there will be if you do like what you see and you want to be a part of ILET moving forward, you can check that out. All that information will be there on the summit as it stands. So I appreciate you letting me bring that up. But yeah, come join us. It's going to be a phenomenal week of training. It always is. And it's a ton of fun. And a lot of our sponsors do a lot of giveaways too. So if you're there and you fill out a short survey, you have a chance to win a bunch of crap.
Perfect.
A lot of stuff. So it's always fun. But no, I appreciate you letting me mention that.
Absolutely exciting. I will have everything linked up for the listeners. I've already registered, so I'm looking forward to checking it out myself. And and for the listeners' sake, you're going to notice when you go to the website, when you follow the links below, and you take a look at who a lot of those speakers are, many of them have been guests on this very podcast. So like Patrick Fitzgibbons, Dr. Heidi Sievers, and so forth. A lot of really good people involved in this besides all the names that Adam just said.